Hello, I'm Ashley. I run the channel Ash on Film. It's a commentary / analysis channel. So I take a subject that I'm interested in and quite often is something that's happening in the world right now, and I analyse it. So I do a little video essay all about what it is and how I feel about it and why it's relevant right now. I started hearing about minimalism quite late in the game, to be honest. So this was in like the end of 2019. And I started a new job and I just had this feeling of I didn't want to fill my desk with clutter. I wanted to, a clean slate, really felt like a clean slate. And I just had this feeling that like I just wanted to create something that was really not a stressful workspace. I think that's what I was going for. And minimalism was quite popular at the time. There was documentaries coming out and there was a lot of YouTubers talking about it. And it seemed really easy, or at least it did for me, to just, it was almost something that you didn't do rather than something that you did do. So the effort was basically not buying something and not building up clutter and that kind of stuff too. My partner at the time and I broke up and I moved house. And again, there was this opportunity of a clean slate. And I thought, again, I really want to come into a space and make it somewhere that I feel good about, that I don't constantly have to think about, this needs tidy, this needs put away, what do I do with all this stuff? That's how I've been living my life up until that point. I started in a very cluttered place when I went into the journey. So there was a lot to get rid of. But then because of like the change in my circumstances, there were a lot of things that it made sense to get rid of. There was no point in keeping old photographs or like things that I didn't need in my new place. Like I didn't need to double up on utensils and stuff like that. And so I had to like really be ruthless sometimes and get rid of lots and lots of stuff. And I meant like every time I went to the charity shop with the stuff that I wasn't going to sell, it was like 9 bin bags. Like it was so much stuff. And I remember I would go in with like 4 bags in my hands and they'd be like, oh, thank you so much. And I'm like, there's more. I'm going back to the car. Hold tight. If there ever is a day where I go, oh, why did I give that away? I can be like, that's fine. I can just get another one. Nothing priceless went, basically.
Wow, that really takes a lot of courage to do. It takes a lot of courage to first recognize that you can get rid of the stuff and then to actually follow through with it. It takes a lot of courage.
I found it really difficult to get rid of things that were sentimental. But the only reason that I thought they were sentimental was because they had been in my life for a really long time. There was no real emotional attachment. I was just looking at an inanimate object and saying, but I've owned it for 10 years. And it was like, but who cares? It doesn't mean anything and it's not valuable. And I very much believe that one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I donate as much as possible. I sell things on eBay, even if they're junk to me. I'm like, somebody out there would want this.
If I'm not using an object and somebody else can make use of it, that would make me so happy. Yeah. That's empowering both of us, that's definitely empowering me and that other person that gets the thing that they need. So gotta keep it moving.
I totally agree. There are some items that I blatantly can't make decisions on. And so they're in a sort of limbo, but I'm okay with that. There are certain things that I really like, but I don't use. And I'm like, I don't have to make the decision right now, but put it in a drawer. And if it's still in that drawer in 6 months, then I can think about the decision again and see if I need to let go of it or if I still feel that I need to keep it. There's also like, I've now got this built-in it's partly anguish, but it's also kind of like a superpower that when I'm tempted to buy something new, I really think it through. And sometimes this is tedious. It took me 2 months to decide to buy a new jacket, which is ridiculous. Minimalism really focuses on things that are useful to you. but there's also room for things that you enjoy. They might not have a purpose, but they do like bring joy to your life. And for me, that is a purpose. You know, you need things in your life that make you happy. I think if you have a baseline where things are in order, things are harmonious, and you know things aren't distracting you from what you're trying to do, then it can be like better for your attention span and better for your productivity as well. And then my partner and I split up, and it was this question of, well, who's going to stay in the flat and who's going to leave? It was a no-brainer for me. I was like, I already have this plan to like change my life in a really fundamental way. It makes more sense for me to walk away with the things that I want to keep than it does for me to stay in the place with all the stuff that I don't want anymore. And that way he got to keep all the things he didn't want to get rid of, and I only took what I had to. So I moved, and again, when I came to this space here, I was like, brilliant, this is a blank canvas. I can just go in and only have what I intend to have and not have stuff that I feel obliged to keep or sentimental in the wrong way about. And yeah, it was really, really good to just like have my own space and go, right, this is exactly how I want this room to look. A year ago, I knew I was getting to a place in the job that I was working in that I just really didn't enjoy it anymore. I was going through a lot of the things that other people have been over the pandemic crisis, where you suddenly have a bit of a realization about what's important to you. And I was given a lot of energy to a job that I didn't enjoy doing. I was giving a lot of my free time up in order to sustain that job. And it was really getting me down. And I think the shift in my lifestyle and moving to minimalism was almost like phase one. Phase two was building like tools in order to like open my mind, heal a little bit more, learn things about the world that I was previously closed off to, and just, you know, kind of, yeah, getting to grips with like what I really wanted in my life. So YouTube was like this driving force that every single week I was taking on like a new part of my life and going, let's explore what we can do with that. So it really has been like such a positive thing. You know, you learn things and you build tools as you go, and then suddenly you realize when you look back on a situation, oh, that's what was going on.
Yes. Yes.
Now I understand why I did this and where I was at that point in time. And that's the good thing about, you know, if it ever did come up again, you know exactly what to do. What I find about these things is that they will always guaranteed teach you something about yourself. Whether you think it works or whether you don't, it will teach you something about yourself. And I think that's valuable in itself.
Yeah, because that's what we're here for, right? We're here to learn and to grow and to experience stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I do feel very renewed. I feel like I understand a lot more about myself and I know what I want. And there are small things that some people would think that's nothing, that for me, I'm like, this is a big step. I would never have done this. You know, Ashley 2019 couldn't have dreamt of this. Simple things like setting boundaries with people, like telling someone no. It's like something that I really struggled with. And that can have massive repercussions in your life. So, you know, it depends what the person is asking and what you're saying no to, but on a really like fundamental level, saying no is a super important part of keeping yourself happy and healthy and not ending up doing things that you don't want to do just because you're people pleasing and stuff like that. So yeah,
owning your own life.
Yeah, that's it. It is owning your own life. So yeah, I feel like this is a new era. And interestingly, like, you know, I started my YouTube channel at the same time as I would consider myself moving into that like new phase. So it's kind of interesting to kind of watch back and see the journey sometimes, because it really does feel like I've come a long way